I'm Victor Kipkorir from Kericho County, Kericho High School. So with me here are 8 guests, and I'd like to ask Felix Omondi to ask the first question to the Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary, Education, Dr. Amina Mohammed.
My name is Felix Omondi.
Order members. Order, excuse me, sir. I'm here on your right. I want to request you to just sit. It's a hot seat. Sababu najua waziri akiamka hapo atoke, aje amesimama hapa, kesho utamuuliza. Atakwambia si nilikuwa naambia hao watu wote. This is your conversation. Forget about these people, okay? Focus on. Hata ukitaka kuweka kiti hapa umuulize vizuri, fanya hivyo, okay? So focus on. Ama namna gani? My friend. Okay, proceed.
My name is Felix Omondi, Sea County, St. Mary's School, Yala. And my first question to you is that, what is your government doing to improve education for all children?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very, very much. My brother went to Yala, and so it's a school that I actually know well when I visited him. Since then, since my brother was there, we've done a lot to improve education. First of all, we've made education accessible, right? By ensuring that all children can go to school without having to pay a penny for primary schools, right? For secondary, we have free day secondary education. And for that too, children who opt to go to the day secondary school do not have to pay a penny to go to school. We have put in place a policy, textbook policy. And so I know that you have textbooks in school now, right? Which is something that you didn't have before. Now we have schools that even have more textbooks that they need, which I have said is a good problem to have, because then we can use those books for schools that don't have books. But now we have textbooks. We have the free primary education. For secondary school going children, we even have the medical cover, right? So you don't have to leave school if you are not well. You actually get treated in school, and if you need to go to a hospital, then you're actually taken to the hospital by the school. Yeah. We've also made sure that when you sit your exams, that you don't pay exam fees. So now your certificates are not held back because you haven't paid for your exams. We have increased the number of teachers, and we continue to do that. We actually employ 8,000 to 12,000 teachers every year because we want to improve the student-teacher ratio. So I think that we've done quite a lot in a very, very short time. We take into account, of course, your co-curricular activities, and now we pay for all your co-curricular activities. And so we're in a good place. I mean, if there's one other thing that you'd like us to do, I mean, you can raise it, and maybe we'll develop a policy for it. But I think so far we're probably the only country on our continent that is doing so much for its children. Thank you.
And Honorable Cabinet Secretary, and what have you done to help those children who are in the rural areas where they cannot get access to schools?
We actually have very many schools in our rural areas, right? Right now we don't actually have access to primary schools, yeah? What we are trying to do is make sure that there's 100% transition from primary to secondary, yeah? And as I indicated earlier on, we now have 92% as of today that have transitioned from standard 8 to Form 1. And we are hoping that we can increase those numbers during this half term because I've instructed all schools to remain open, right, to enroll any child that has been left out. So I think that the issue actually is not access. What we are working very, very hard to do is improve the quality and make sure that the education that we provide is relevant.
Round of applause. The second question asked by Jackie Samuel to the governor, Professor Paul Chipkwony. of Kericho County.
My name is Lucky Samuel. I'm from Marsabit County, Moi Girls High School. Our question goes to Governor.
Is the microphone on? DJ, please. Sound team.
My question is, what is the council what is the council of the governors doing to ensure all young children join pre-primary or nursery school?
Thank you very much. That's a very brilliant question. And thank you, Chairman. He's from my school, Kericho High School. First of all, I would like to say that since devolution, Council of Governors has worked closely with the national government to make sure that programs of national government and those of county governments roll out smoothly and in harmony. Number one, you know, ECD, and I'll begin with ECD, which is a devolved function. Counties have built ECD centers, and I'm talking about close to 25,000 ECD centers. These never existed before devolution. In these ECD centers, before devolution, each caregiver was paid by parents, which was very, very difficult for most poor rural parents. So counties are now paying salaries to caregivers who have been employed, and we are talking about close to 119,000 ECD caregivers who are helping our children. Quite a number of counties are also working on food, school feeding programs to attract kids to go to school. And because of the school feeding program, so many kids have been attracted to go to school. In terms of transition, this is a matter that we are working jointly with the national government, especially this year. You've had Kericho has a transition rate of 95%. The 5% that we do not know where they are, we are working very closely with the chiefs and the provincial administration at counties to make sure that these kids, the 5%, would translate about 25,000, are fished out and sent to school. The other very important issue that counties have done to make sure that students go to school is provision of bursary. I will use Kericho as an example. For the last 6 years, we have given close to 700 million Kenya shillings to close to 180,000 students. So this incentive goes a long way to make sure that schools are easily accessible and kids are not stressed in terms of paying fees. So finally, infrastructure is also very important. Before devolution, some areas were very inaccessible. So counties have opened up feeder roads to make sure that access to schools is possible. As counties are also drilling water, they are providing water to communities, and most of the beginning point is schools. So kids have access to water in quite a number of areas which were initially difficult. Thank you.
What about for the children with disabilities?
For children with disability, the important thing that I want to say is that, first of all, roads are very important for them so that they can come out. Before, it used to be very difficult because some of the areas are quite difficult. So one of the things that we've done is to make sure that even the buildings, the county assemblies have legislated to make sure that it is possible for kids with disability to navigate around buildings. So that is a very important contribution of counties. And of course, we make sure that all opportunities that are available, a specific number is set up for kids with disability. Thank you.
Okay.
A round of applause for Governor. So, the third question goes to the senator by Anzal Farah.
Assalamu alaikum. My question goes to Senator. What is Senate doing to ensure all the children to have enough food? My name is Angel Farah from Garissa County, in the Dai Primary School. And my question, my name is Angel Farah.
You know, when all the microphones face you, you can imagine the magnitude of that question. Eh? Jaribu tena.
My name is Angel Farah from Garissa County in the Dai Primary School, and my question goes to Senator. What is Senate doing to ensure all the children to have enough food?
I really want to thank Zara for her question. I really want to thank Zara for her question. And I want to say that the issue of food security is an issue of great concern because it is an issue that directly affects the counties and affects the constituents of the county. And for the Senate, what you're saying is that we are really pushing and talking that food security should actually be taken up by the counties, and counties should ensure that they have enough food for their constituents, and farmers need to be supported. You remember we've been talking about the issue of maize, where farmers have been having issues concerning their maize. And we want to say that when it comes to food security, what we can do as the Senate is to insist that there's need for capacity building. Even governors themselves, they need to also have capacity building. Then it means that we're going to have enough food in the counties. So there's need to invest in agriculture. There's also need to encourage our farmers, because if our farmers are not encouraged, if they are discouraged, means they will not plant. And if they do not plant, it means that we will not have enough food. So I want to say that there's need, as a Senate, of course, to think of legislating laws that will ensure that a lot of money is going to the counties for the purpose of ensuring that the farmer is encouraged to farm. And apart from the farmer also being encouraged to farm, then there should be a mechanism of ensuring that the farmers are also able to dispose their food. Because if they do not dispose their food, what will happen? They will not want to farm anymore. Like I remember there are some farmers who decided to pull out of farming this year. There are some who have decided not to plant maize. So what will happen? There's going to be scarcity of maize. So we have a duty to really encourage the farmers. So we need to really talk about it even in the in Parliament. We need to also bring governors on board to tell us what exactly are they doing with regard to agriculture. And you remember also we have sugarcane farmers who had actually pulled out of sugarcane farming. But as a Senate, as we talk about it, the President has even given a directive that farmers should be paid, and that encourages farmers. So to have food security, we have to ensure that we are speaking to our farmers, we are ensuring that the farmers are actually motivated to work on land, because land is a factor of production. So if land is a factor of production and it's not being utilized, that will affect food security. And if there's no food security, the children will also be be affected because children are raised in a home. And in a home, children must have food, shelter, and clothing. So as a Senate, I want to say that that is what we are doing, ensuring that the county governments are investing in agriculture, putting a reasonable percentage of money towards agriculture.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Senator. And last but not the least, a question to Honorable Denita Gathi by Joyce Wanja.
How can you constrain evil children and early access education?
How can counties ensure children with disabilities access education?
Thank you very much. Again, and thank you for the invitation. I'm the Member of Parliament representing persons with disabilities. And I really want to say that it is the county's responsibility to ensure that all children go to school. Let me tell you, where I sit in Parliament as a Member of Parliament, one of the key challenges that we know is that children with disabilities, in terms of access to education, are usually the last to get into school, and they are usually the first to get out of school. In case there is a problem with school fees, in case there is a problem at home, the parents usually prefer to make sure that those children without disabilities are the ones to go to school at the expense of a child with disability. So in Parliament where I sit, through various legislations, we are trying to ensure that the various counties that we have ensure that they prioritize. And I'm happy that the governor of Kericho is talking about infrastructure. Counties have a responsibility to ensure that infrastructure, the roads, the feeder roads where a child with the disability can wheel himself from the house to a school and access education. Madam CS, I think we want to also seriously look at the issue of inclusive education. How can we ensure that inclusive education is promoted in this country? Inclusive education simply means children with disabilities and children without disabilities learn in the same environment. Children with disabilities and those without disabilities can actually be in the same learning environment where they are interacting, where they are growing together, so that we reduce those chances of discrimination. So those are the kind of laws that we are trying to say, and say, Madam CS, that even from this conference, that if this conference of this nature, that conference that we are having can be in Mombasa, or can be in Kisumu, or can be in Rift Valley. That is the way we are talking about devolution, so that these benefits that we are having can actually be felt down in our that is the spirit of devolution that we are talking about, so that we are enjoying the fruits of devolution. And even from here, lastly, if we are living here, and as a Member of Parliament, of course I'm going to put legislation to ensure that every county has a children's parliament in the county, so that every county looks at those issues of children in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the second question to the last is from the President to Honorable Omar of UNICEF.
What is UNICEF doing to ensure they have safe water?
Thank you very much. Thank you, President, Honorable President. I think I have the honor to have been asked this question by the President. Is it good? Okay. So I think let me start very quickly to say that I think that in UNICEF, every right of children is very important. They're equally, and part of those right to water is among those ones. We have supported, like we worked with Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. We partnered and developed a poverty study in the children's right. And what came up among the highest areas of deprivation for children, like areas where children are having problems. So what we're doing currently, just to summarize, is, first of all, in UNICEF, we work in partnership with the government of Kenya in terms of building policies, in terms of building legislations at both national and county level, because what I know is a devolved function. That is number one. And the main purpose of this is to ensure that sufficient resources are allocated to build water points in every single community in the community. One other point which is very important, which I think is very linked with child education or child health, is also how to make sure that health facilities, how to make sure that schools at least have water points, because this is very critical and very important. I remember also one other thing is that during the drought, during the last drought, UNICEF's work with counties has contributed to save lives of so many children in the ASAL counties by ensuring that they have access to water in the different counties, particularly those who are affected with the drought. I think also, just to finish, one more point which is important is also our work is not only in water but also on sanitation, because it's also one important dimension of children's right into the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Osman. Sorry for that. So the last question from me to Honorable Amina Mohammed, Jacqueline Wanjiru. On behalf of the children in the juvenile justice systems, are you to up the quality of our education?
Well, thank you very much. A very good question. It's something that is very, very close to my heart. I think that during the years that they're in juvenile school, these children should be given all the opportunities, right, to emerge out of juvenile schools into our integrated and normal schools. So, so it's something we are working on. We are developing a policy on it, and during the launch of the policy, we will of course invite these children from juvenile schools so that they can be present with us. But we'll also be asking them for their views as we develop this this policy. But it's something that is really close to us. It's something that we've been talking about at the ministry, and it's something that I hope in the next few months we'll be able to put to rest. Right, know exactly what we want for our children in these schools, and I think the policy will guide us on how to support these children so that they can get out of juvenile school into other schools. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for our guests, and a round of applause for them, please, as they go to sit down. Let me welcome back our moderator for the day.
Thank you so much. When you see the CS in such a hurry, you know that things are not very good. But Madam Waziri, do you mind having a group photo with the panelists? Kindly. Yes, just back here, please. Thank you so much for accepting. Mheshimiwa, you are now disadvantaged, but we are learning some very good lessons because we didn't provide for a ramp, but we... Naomba turudi kidogo, tupige picha na waheshimiwa. So after this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll also have a group photo outside close to the VIP tent. Yeah, let's tusonge hapa. Madam Jackie, you don't want to join us? I think it's okay that you join us. Where is our chair? Mokami uko wapi? And Lilis, of course, definitely. I wish this podium would fit all of us. Sisi sote tungekuja tusimame huku, but we are going to provide an opportunity outside. Chini tena? Simama hapa. Songa tu hapa. Alafu kanyaga hapa. That's fine. That looks good. You want lilies also to teremka? They are saying that the president, or you want to sit on? There are people who are coming to photobomb, so that means we finish. Thank you so much. God bless you. Please let's have a group photo out there together with the CS. Yes. Naomba tuketi ili no, we arise as we allow the CS to leave. She'll join us outside there together with the governor and all the other leaders. So this kind of panel is going to be, what we have just seen is going to be the characteristic of all the other panels led by children, moderated by children, and it's really going to be quite an exciting conference that is going to be put forward by children. So if you have any suggestions, something that we need to learn from, any pointers that we need to take, we are very much open to those new ideas. Thank you. DJ, some very nice music as we recess for the group photo. After the group photo, we proceed for lunch. The ladies, we know where we go to. The males, we know where we go to. And then we return here at... What's the time?